Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a review on Season 1 of 1899. Okay, you guys, before I head into my thoughts and feelings on this show, I have just been debating back and forth before I even hit record on here. I just kept debating to myself, am I doing a non-spoiler review or a spoiler review? Because it's like I'm sitting here looking at my notes, you guys, and just the littlest of things on here that I have in my notes, it's like, well, that's a spoiler. you know? Because it's like I'm still hinting at something. So I think for the purposes of this video, because I have a lot to say, and I need to like hash it out loud to myself, if that makes sense. So I think for the purposes of this video, and for me to really get out how I'm kind of feeling about this show, what's working for me and what's not working, I think I definitely need to go with the spoilers. It's like I really wanted to not do spoilers because it's like I still want people to watch this show and experience it for themselves and form their own opinions. So it's like I wanted to do a non-spoiler to get people curious and interested, but I don't know how I can do that. Like I said, I'm just sitting here looking at my notes and it's like this is just full of spoilers, just the tiniest little things that I'm going to say or insinuate. I've seen people do reviews talking about the show, and the thing is, I've noticed their reviews are very short on purpose because you can't say much about this show. This is definitely the type of show, it's like you just need to stay clear of any sort of discussion and then go back and watch reviews. Because I just don't know how you can do a review about the show without talking about the spoilers, to be quite honest. So yeah, warning, you guys, I'm definitely heading into spoilers because I honestly don't know how to talk about this show without getting into spoilers. So yeah, that being said, my thoughts and feelings on 1899. This is a German production, and it's from the creators of Dark, which is also a Netflix show. I never saw Dark, so I'm not going to be able to compare this show to Dark at all, which is probably a good thing because I've seen a lot of people comparing this show and Dark. So I guess I'm going to have that unique point of view. I don't have it to compare against anything. So yeah, I really would like to see Dark though. You guys, if you've seen Dark, is it great? Should I go see it? Because apparently I need to see it. This first season was 8 episodes. And the big thing about it that I think is very appealing to a lot of viewers is the fact that it's multilingual, you guys. And the fact that it's a multilingual show is actually quite vital and important on this show. You definitely need to watch this show with subtitles, not dubbing. I've seen a lot of other articles out there saying do not listen to this show with dubbing. You need it with the subtitles, with everyone speaking their actual native language, whatever that is. Because there's parts of the show where there's communication barriers and people don't quite know what's going on, because you have the characters that only speak their one language. Then you have the characters that might be bilingual or multilingual or whatever. So that's a big part of the show is some of the communication barriers, and if you have the dubbing on, it's not going to make sense what's going on. Why characters are confused, because to you in your head you're hearing the English. So it's definitely important to have the subtitles. I think it's just a much more enriching, engaging experience and whatnot. And you guys, this is a wild ass show. Oh my god, a completely wild show. So freaking bizarre and whimsical. And I'm heading into spoilers. You guys, I'm definitely heading into some spoilers. On the surface, this show, when you see the trailers, the promotional material, I was expecting like a historical fiction show with like horror elements, or it was going to be like a psychological thriller, which it is. It is still kind of a psychological thriller, but we'll kind of get into that. But yeah, I was expecting this to strictly be a historical fiction type show with horror and psychological terror going on. Because after all, the show is called 1899, or is it? I don't know. So I was just so shocked. I think, what was it, by episode 2? You guys, I think by episode 2, when you start getting into like advanced technology and it starts clicking like, oh wait, there's more going on with the show than what you're kind of given initially. So what the show is about, it's about multinational immigrants who are boarding a ship to America, you guys. And they're all hiding some sort of tragic past, and they have demons that they're trying to face. But bizarre and strange things start happening on this voyage to America. So on the surface, that's what the show seems like, you know? And boy, oh boy, do you quickly kind of get all of that flipped. It's insane, you guys, because the show is not really a historical fiction show at all. It's really a sci-fi show. And I wrote here in my notes that this show, it's like a cross between, wait for it, Lost, Westworld, Titanic, and like the most bizarre of Christopher Nolan's films, especially like The Prestige and Inception and Tenet specifically. So that's what I was saying. I can't do this review without talking about spoilers, because that's a big part of what the show was kind of making me think of, that I kind of wanted to compare it to, is, like I said, Lost, Westworld, Titanic, Christopher Nolan. It's a blend of all of that. It's like a genre bending show, if that makes sense. It's very genre bending. It's like you're expecting historical fiction, but there's way more going on than just that, because it's a sci-fi show, actually. Surprise. And I'm not, that's where some of my issues start, you guys. If you know me, I love all things historical fiction. I am just an absolute sucker for historical fiction. So that's what I was expecting heading into this show, was a historical fiction show with like horror elements. So for me, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the sci-fi angle, unfortunately. Now, on the plus side, the sci-fi in this show, even though it can be a little confusing and overwhelming at times, the thing is, I think it's still very well handled, that even someone like me, a casual viewer of sci-fi, that I was still able to grasp and understand what was going on by that final episode. I think a lot of that stuff was very well explained, because I started to understand that, okay, this is in a simulation. That creepy black stuff that was like floating around or whatever, that was supposed to be like a physical manifestation of the virus that was in the simulation. And then I understood that those pods at the very end, that was kind of the access point to get into the simulation. They're on a spaceship, you know? Like, I was able to totally understand all of that. I think all of that was very, very well explained, especially to people who are just not really into sci-fi. Because I'm not really huge into sci-fi. I do dabble into it every now and then. I love Doctor Who. You know, I love Doctor Who. I really enjoy Westworld. So I do like sci-fi when it's handled well and it's explained in a way that a casual person getting into it can understand. You know, because sci-fi is one of those genres that if it's too sci-fi, then I'm going to be confused and lost, and I'm not going to understand what the hell's going on. Because like that's even kind of what happened to, like, with Battlestar Galactica. You know, I loved Battlestar Galactica, but I think some of those last couple seasons I was just so confused. I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. So it's very important to note about this show, the sci-fi angle. If that might be something that frustrates you, irritates you, if you just do not like sci-fi. You know, if you're strictly watching this show thinking, oh, it's historical fiction, you're going to maybe be a little frustrated and disappointed. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not sure how I feel at the moment, because I was just loving the show, you guys. I was loving it. It was just going and going and going. I was like, oh man, what's up with the cameras and those little pads, you know, the triangles that like Daniel was punching in and stuff. I was like, what is all this? Because I was thinking, before it was revealed that it was a simulation, I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe this is just advanced technology, like kind of like steampunk, you know, especially when the Victorian era is is handled. There's like steampunk elements sometimes, like the Nevers. The Nevers is a good example of this, taking place in Victorian London, but with steampunk elements. That there's some modern technology kind of being used. So I, before I thought of the simulation, before I thought of the thing about them being up in space or anything, yeah, I was thinking kind of like a steampunk sort of thing going on in this show, because I was thinking it was reality. You know, I was thinking initially, this is reality. There's just some weird, creepy things going on the ship, you know? So, I'm very conflicted about how I feel currently, because it's like there's elements that I just freaking loved, and I just don't know how I feel about the simulation angle, you know, because the next season, you know, because we can talk about the next season at the end of this video. It's like the next season, is it entirely going to be up in space and whatnot? And what's the point of calling this show 1899? You know, I don't know. I'm so conflicted right now. It's like I need the next season in order to kind of understand how I feel about the show. You know, I think this is going to be the type of show that I need to see it in its entirety. You know, if it does end up having multiple seasons, I feel like this is the type of show I need to see it in its entirety to really form a good opinion about how I feel with it, because right now I'm just not quite sure. It's like I still really enjoyed it, you know. I looked forward to watching every single episode. I was absolutely obsessed. And yeah, the episodes move so quickly. It's like there's the kind of a slow quality to them, you know, a slow burn, but at the same time it's like they move so quickly, you know. So it's like I love the mystery and the intrigue and the characters and all the relationships, you know. I've really enjoyed all that, but once again, I'm just not quite sure yet about the sci-fi twist. You know, I'm still just really debating that, even as I'm doing this video. Like, how do I really feel? And I'm curious if other people kind of feel that way too. Where's your headspace? You know, are you conflicted? And I mean, yeah, kind of going down here to some of my notes. You know, what does this show mean? What is it all about at the end of the day? You know, most shows, when you watch a show, there's something that's meaningful. You know, there's a message to it, a metaphor, a theme, whatever. So ultimately, what is the show about? Because on the surface, once again, we're presented with a bunch of immigrants traveling to America. And they all have tragic backstories and histories, and they all have some sort of inner demon that they're struggling with. And it's all told through like interesting ways of kind of delivering their flashbacks and whatnot. But once again, you get the twist that it's all a simulation. Everything's a lie, really, including their backstories, I'm guessing. So then it all of a sudden, any sort of meaning that I got from the show, you know, following these immigrants, because I thought it was going to be a story about immigrants, you know, about immigration, kind of thrown in like a political message in there about immigration, you know. I thought it was going to be kind of maybe some sort of show like that, and people trying to escape their past somewhat. But can you ever really escape your past? You know, I was kind of putting all this deep stuff with the show, and once again, a sci-fi twist. It's a simulation. It's all not real. Well, what's the point? You know, what I felt for these characters and their relationships and their stories, it's like it all became null and void, if that makes sense. It all became null and void, and it's like, why should I care? Because I, as the viewer, was manipulated. Like them, the characters, you know, the viewer and the characters are all manipulated, and it's like, well, what is this about? Why does it matter? Why should I care about these people, you know? So I'm conflicted about that. You know, the message and meaning of this show became null and void. So I mean, that's a big question heading into season 2, because we should start to get answers. Okay, why did Daniel and Mara, why did they create this simulation? You know, because Mara was later called the creator of all this, because you get the idea that her and Daniel's son, Elliot, the little boy, who at first I thought was a creepy little boy, but he's not a creepy little boy. You kind of get this reveal that he's dying, but what is he dying from? And yeah, you get the idea that Mara and Daniel kind of created this program with the means of trying to save him, it seems. So I'm guessing with season 2, we'll have that explored, why this simulation was created and why are they up in space. You know, we do get the reveal it's the year 2099. It's not 1899. So is there something wrong with the Earth? You know, is this show going to end up being like about environmental issues? You know what I mean? Is it going to end up being about environmental issues instead of like immigration issues, you know, like, which is what I thought the show was going to kind of be about and exploring. But yeah, telling it through like this big metaphor of creepy stuff happening on the ship, you know. So I don't know, you know, I don't know how I should feel about the characters now because I was lied to. None of their backstories are real. None of their relationships are real, you know. So it's like that's all messed up for me now, and so now I have complicated feelings about that because now I feel like with season 2, it has to all start over because now all these people are actually going to be new people technically, you know, because I'm assuming they're all like scientists and technicians and stuff, you know, that they're on this ship, that they specialize in some sort of scientific field or technician field, you know. So yeah, it's like season 2, it's like we're gonna have to learn who these people are truly and really, you know, and yeah, what their real backstories are. So I don't know. You guys, I'm conflicted about that too. And we definitely can't end this video. We have to talk about the use of the volume technology. The volume is a big, huge new technology that a lot of TV shows have been using. It's like a big, huge screen that the actors and directors can work against, and there's like a visual of what they're looking at behind them. For instance, on this ship, if they're on the deck of the ship, they can see out to the ocean and the sky and whatnot, and it looks realistic. It looks like they're really out there at sea, you know, instead of it being like a straight up CGI sort of thing. There's like a screen there. It's all projected there for them to see. And yeah, other shows have been using this recently. I know a lot of the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus have been using it. House of the Dragon recently used it. So yeah, 1899 used it just wonderfully on this show because it looks like there's a sea there, you know. The sea looks just so great. Just everything about the show, how they used the volume was spectacular. The lighting, I love the lighting. The lighting on the show is wonderful. The music, I loved the 1970s music that was used at the end of every episode. You guys, perfect. That should have been a clue right there that all is not as it seems. Right there, just from the music, because I was suspicious from the get-go with the music at the end of every episode. Yeah, writing great, directing great. I love the cast. I love Emily Beecham, Aniron Barnard. I initially kind of got into the show because Aniron Barnard was going to be in it. I love him. Yeah, just a multinational cast. You guys, if someone's German, they're German. If they're Spanish, they're Spanish. Whatever they are, and I love that. And everyone pretty much getting to use their own native languages, and yeah, kind of getting into that communication barriers. You know, it's a big issue on a ship like this one. Communication is critical and vital to what's going on. So just everything about the show, I just loved. Yeah, costume. What I have here, I have costuming. And yeah, plus kind of going back to the use of the volume technology, it really does. It really allows for just an absolutely immersive, engaging experience while watching this show. And I think it tells, you know, because the actors have that to really work against too. So I guess kind of ending this video about a season 2, I mean, I've kind of already been going into that. Like I said, I think this show handled the sci-fi really well, that I wasn't like totally confused. You know, it was all explained step by step by step, rather than kind of like a big huge information overload. You know, I don't feel like there was information overload. Like, it was all kind of handed out little by little, that my brain was able to grasp and kind of retain that knowledge and information and connect the pieces as it was given out, you know. So yeah, I'm curious about a season 2. I mean, is it still going to be called 1899? You know, I mean, what's up with that? You know, I'm very curious about that. Are we going to have a season still within that, with the ship? Because we know that it's a loop. Apparently it's some sort of loop that goes over and over and over, all with the thing of trying to figure out the human brain. Because a lot of this show had to do with the human brain, why the human brain works the way that it does and why it doesn't work the way that it does, and like human emotion, human emotion getting in the way rather than people maybe being rational and logical about things. So it's like, is that going to continue to be a big thing? The brain, the enigma of the brain, is that going to continue into the next season? Yeah, why are they up in space? Has the world been destroyed, possibly, or is there just advanced technology that they're out there in space? But yeah, once again, why are they in space? What do they do in space? So I just have a lot of questions about the next season, because I think everything was handled pretty well this first season, that I think a lot of stuff we got our answers to, but yeah, we have a whole nother set of questions heading further into the show. So yeah, all of that being said, you guys, I'm definitely curious your thoughts and opinions on this show. What worked for you, what didn't? Were y'all expecting the sci-fi twist? Because I certainly was not. I mean, if the show had like fantasy sort of elements to it, that would have been fine to me. But yeah, the actual sci-fi twist of the show was just kind of a little woo. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure how I feel about it. And I guess we'll see. I like I said, I kind of need just the entirety of this show. If it's multi-seasons, I need the entirety of it to maybe form a better opinion about it. But I mean, yeah, in general, I mean, I still really highly enjoyed the show. I looked forward to each episode. I think each episode was handled wonderfully well. I had a lot of fun with it, and I kept trying to think, okay, what's the mystery? I'm trying to figure out the mystery before the mystery is revealed to me. So yeah, definitely did not see the simulation coming, you guys. So yeah, just let me know your thoughts and feelings on this show. What are your thoughts and your theories? I'm definitely curious people's theories about this show. What's going on? What's up with the triangles? I still, for the life of me, I can't even think what the hell is going on with those triangles. If there's kind of more than what's going on, because yeah, we were kind of given the idea that it's like the logo. Maura kept saying, "Oh, it's the shipping company's logo that my father runs," but is it? I don't know. So maybe there's some whole other meaning to the triangles. I just love the triangles. Every episode, I love looking for the triangles. Because even like the one French girl, Clemence, she had like the triangle earrings. I love that detail with the triangle earrings. And then, yeah, the one Asian girl, Ling Yi, was that her name? She had on her kimono, she had like the triangle on the back of her kimono. I love that detail. Yeah, the triangles on the floors, even on the wallpaper, there were triangles. I mean, if you really stared at stuff, there were triangles. And then even sometimes people, they would be in formations. Like in one of those final episodes, like when Daniel and Maura and Ike are all kind of standing out, and big climatic stuff is happening. It's like you have like Maura and Daniel here and like Ike over here, like forming a triangle there, so like even that, like maybe not an actual triangle, but like characters standing in particular places that look like triangles, like I love the little stupid details like that. So yeah, I'm just curious with what's up with the triangles, or is it just meaningless? Is it just there to kind of be a red herring almost, So yeah, I'm definitely curious your thoughts and opinions about this show, you guys, and definitely go into spoilers, theories, whatever, I don't care. So guys, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.